I never let school get in the way of my education. Coming up next, right here on the Cash Compound Podcast. What up, everybody? Jay Do and Jonah here of the Banking Bros here at the Cash Compound, helping you understand how to save and spend your money at the exact same time. Jonah, is it even possible?
It is, but you've got to know how to do it. And it's very important about whose money's being saved, whose money's being spent. People mix that up. But we'll break it down for you in this episode. We're also going to help you crack the code to cash flow in this episode by offering a little bit of an inside look into our course subscription and the revamp of that is coming directly to you, your direction.
That's right. Now, Jonah, we've got some time before we get into all that.
That's right.
But we do have, for the last 2.5 years, we have some sort of course platform that we have. Man, go back.
It's our flagship product,
right.
Actually.
It is where we all started.
That's right.
We started learning this concept about 8 years ago, both of us. And the concept is the one thing we were missing in our financial life that could help us become our own banker. So that was the concept. But when we started to learn it, we, ladies and gentlemen, didn't have a lot of tutelage, at least a lot of the one-on-one that we really wanted. And what better way to communicate knowledge than the internets? So we were doing all sorts of things out there. But what we have decided to do over the last 5 years now is try to figure out how to bring that and give that to you, to be able to experience what we actually now know that we had to go learn the hard way. We're trying to make it a little bit easier for you. So that right there, as an introduction, brings me to our word of the week. Jonah, this week, the word of the week is education. Education. Well, yes, you like it, but first off, let's go back. A lot of people out there on the internet think that we're trying to tell people something, but we're really just the lost people who found what we were looking for. We're trying to tell other people that.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
Like found people, find people. You ever heard that one in church?
I've heard. Not in church.
Is it not a church quote?
Maybe it is.
We go to different churches.
We do, but I hadn't heard that particularly in church. I've heard it before.
Yes.
But yeah.
Found people, find people, and like hurt people, hurt people. You heard that one, right?
I heard that one. Yeah, definitely not in church. That one, that's a caption on somebody's.
Right. No, I mean, I've heard it in church, but they were talking about the people who weren't in church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hurt people. So first off, as we get into the stuff around the word of the week, there's a lot of people out there on the internet who are trying to say that we're the type of people who must be hurt and we're ready to hurt other people. We're in it for ourselves. Don't you think that is the sentiment of some people who get into the DMs?
If it is, it's not correct. That's why I played them that sound right there.
Right.
Hurt people, hurt. I'm a little lost, but it's okay. Hurt people. I'm not hurting anybody. I help a lot of people.
Yes, but there are a lot of people who don't know about what we're doing, and they think we're out there hurting people.
They think we're to give them wrong information?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. No,
scams and schemes.
Well, maybe that's what you deal with on the front end.
I'm on the front
to
end.
all of our customers and walk them through what's going on and how to help them. So actually, all of my reviews are high.
Good point.
I get a lot of praise on my end.
We got to start people off where they are. We came to find you where you are. So what we're here to do is give you some education. So now let's figure out where you started from. Jonah, what was your high school GPA?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. Do you know your high school? Of course you do.
I do.
My high school GPA was, I'd have to go look, 3.3, I bet.
You're just making up numbers.
Yeah, but I bet it was somewhere between 3.2 and 3.4.
Okay.
I think it was over, if it was over 3.4, no, it goes all the way up to 4. 4 is like a good one.
4 is A average, yeah. 4-point scale.
I bet you it was higher than that then. I apologize.
So it was like A's
3.
would have been 4, B's straight would have been 3.
So I bet you it was actually like 3, somewhere between 3.4 and 3.7. I'll go look. I can find it, I guess.
You can?
How do you? I don't know. How would I find it?
Well, I don't know if you can find it now.
I probably could find it.
But like when you graduate. Okay, when did you graduate?
2011.
So that is 11 years ago now.
Yeah, that's right. Long time.
Okay, so I just hit my 20th anniversary on my high school experience this past summer, 2022, as we record this late in the year. And guess my GPA, grade point average for high school.
3.2.
3.06. 3.06. So the reason I came up with that quote kind of at the beginning to catch attention was whoever said that. I mean, I've read it 100 times in 100 places too, not in church, but it was, I never let school get in the way of my Yogi Berra, Mark Twain, Samuel Clement, who knows. But the point of that was when I got out of school, I really was at the beginning. Commencement, of course, means you're just starting, right? So as you finish high school graduation, you commence into life. Maybe you got a college degree out there and you're commencing into the world. But here's the difference between where I am now and where I was then is school is over. Education lasts forever.
Okay. I'm actively searching through my phone looking for my transcript.
Did you find it?
No, but I did find our sister's transcript. I don't know why I have it, but I have our sister Joy.
You just calling her out.
Yeah. If she's listening, I have her transcript.
Okay.
3.54 for her.
Definitely higher than mine. I know what mine was, 3.06. So you're out here, it could be anything, 3.7. So you claiming it was higher than hers?
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm going to find it.
Oh, goodness.
If you're watching.
Well, I will continue the podcast while you keep looking. You go ahead and do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the point of which I'm trying to make is that on our course library, the Cash Compound was introduced to you in the world, whether you know about it or in it or not. The point was to help you continue your learning journey. It, of course, was Gandhi who said that you live like you're going to die tomorrow. You need to learn like you're going to live forever. So there's so much more to learn and to experience in this world. And of course, you don't know what you don't know. There's so much more ways to go throughout this life, understanding and getting and acquiring knowledge that hopefully you can translate into wisdom, which means, I think it means you can use the knowledge.
I used to hear this quote all the time. People would say, "Oh, I learn something new every day." And I used to think that it was actually kind of goofy. Like, you don't learn something new every single day. But as we have...
As you get a little older.
As you get a little bit,
hopefully wiser.
A little bit of this business that we've been in, I started to realize, I'm learning lots. I learn more than one new thing every day. And I used to, and I kid you not, that's a little bit of the mental shift that a lot of people go through when they start their policies. They're coming from this realm of, I've got my finance situation, my finance life, my money. I've kind of got it under control. I know how the banks work. I know how my accounts work. I know how my plans work. I know how, right? And then it's very quick, even with the little bit of knowledge that we have and we try to impart on them, how we can quickly get them to shift to 180 to go, you don't actually know what's happening at all, do you? Right? And it's not to say that we know everything. It's that we had to learn. We just were in this position a little bit before you were, which is why we're now teaching you the information, trying to relate to you, going, hey, look, we didn't know everything either. Look what we figured out. We can help you learn it a lot faster and get there a lot sooner as instead of prolonging it and going through all these ups and downs and lefts and rights, right?
Yeah, so it was Will Rogers who said, and you say this from time to time in some of your presentations, I think, it's not what you know, it's what you think you know.
That just ain't so. Right.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are reminding you about our course library. What's in our course library will help you with our mission. Crack the code to cash flow. Help you understand how you can always have more cash flowing dollars to use throughout your life. Money is a tool. We're often doing things with money we don't actually want to do with the things money could do for us. Save things, not use things, hoard things for later, put them at risk, or give them up in terms of control. And what our entire library of courses is doing, as we introduce it to you for probably the last time before it becomes revamped and redone in the new year, is all the different ways that the one tool we talk about here at the Cash Compound can help you crack the code to cash flow. So, Jonah, tell us about some of these courses and maybe some of your highlights and favorites.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that in our course library, we've got a few public offerings. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6 public offering courses.
We do.
And those courses consist of our crash course, if you're trying to get a quick in-depth look at the crash course. A lot of times we give the crash course away for free to a lot of our prospects. And we ask you to share it with your friends and family. It's a good way to introduce somebody.
Copyright it. It has the right to be copied. Go ahead and share it with your friends.
It's a good way to introduce somebody who doesn't really know a lot about banking to the banking concept without asking them to watch something that takes 3 hours and all this stuff.
Or showing up to a live event or paying any money.
Exactly. So that's one of our we have a crash course. That's an offering. We also have our Banking Basics course, which is longer form. It includes a lot of the stuff the crash course has, isn't, but we deep dive into a lot of the ideas, and we kind of go through exactly what becoming your own bank looks like. And so that's one of the offerings. The whole point of me bringing this up was actually to say a lot of people don't realize that only because we have 5 or 6 public offerings, that doesn't mean that's actually all the courses that we have. Some of the courses actually aren't revealed to you unless you have completed one of the other courses. We have an entire course that's around a dividend, how that works, why it is what it is, how you can find yours, how that grows. You don't actually, that's not a public offer. So here's the idea. We don't want you starting with the dividend.
We don't
if you haven't gone through
in your education. Course, you don't start in 7th grade.
Exactly.
You start in kindergarten, and then you move forward, and you have to learn from the building blocks you've previously encountered.
That's right.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize that about our course offering. We actually have lots of courses available, but you've got to go through 1 or 2 first before you actually can see the others. Because if you don't have those building blocks, it's no point in showing you all the other stuff that you might want to know or need to know. Right?
Achievement unlocked, ladies and gentlemen. So those of you out there who actually have jumped into our course libraries because you've probably been on a phone call with us or one of the other bros and the folks in our office who help you through and guide you through your questions to get started. You probably are in our library, been offered our library. Remember that first course system has been free. We might have to change that up for people. Should we keep giving it to them for free as we move into the new year?
Yeah, I think we're going to redo and revamp some of our courses and offer some more stuff, some new stuff, some other type of offerings. But one of the things that we'll probably continue to do is have some sort of free offering. And that's really important to us, making sure that we can connect with you without asking you to spend $100 on a master class or $5 or $10 or $15 a month, but we want to be able to make sure that you can get the information that you're looking for. And then, of course, if you like the way that we deliver it and want to learn more, then there's a different aspect to that, right? But
where you can jump into the paid-for premium subscriptions, right? That's kind of the model, because we're always going to continue learning and giving you new content to help you understand this process. But in the banking world, there are several aspects that might intrigue you that you want to go down once you become intermediate and advanced. And like Jonah said, you start from the beginning, but when you move through, you might say, hey, my goal here before I even started your course library was to get into real estate.
There it is.
Was to understand my taxes.
Yeah.
Was to move toward retirement in the next handful of years. I need to know how this process answers my specific questions. Well, we're going to lay that foundation for you by listening here, by getting into those courses, and by moving on to the next pieces. But one of the last courses that I think we had built in our this is actually really phase 2. This is version 2 of our course library. We had a first version about 4 years ago, and this version has been about 2.5 years running, I think, and it's really served a lot of people. How many people have subscribed at this point?
You got it up. Go ahead and scroll up to the top, click on that dashboard, and it'll tell us how many people are inside of our library.
1,600. Over 1,600.
Yeah, man. We served a lot of people. So because of that, we've got lots of people inside of there. We need to update. We need to revamp.
Yes, it's time to redo it, ladies and gentlemen. But we're leaving it out there for you at the time. If you're watching this kind of fresh over the holiday season of 2022, it's in there. Yeah. Get in there and jump forward. And if you have gotten to a place where you've stopped learning, you thought it was school and you forgot about your education, then remember, there's some hidden courses in there for you somewhere. You may not have gotten to them yet.
You were about to touch on one of the last courses that we did, and it was actually something I wanted to bring up, too. A lot of people think it's just us in there chatting, talking, right?
Okay.
But in one of the last courses that we did, like our...
I was guessing. Which one were you going to say?
I was going to talk about our tax course.
Okay. I was going to talk about loans and interest.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I don't remember.
Well, here's what I was going to say about our tax course that's in there. We actually partnered with a tax professional to bring you the tax course. See, as much as you might like us, we are not professionals in taxes. right? So we actually needed to link up with someone who understands banking policies. That was important. And that also can deliver those tax benefits and tax tips and tricks because they are actually a tax professional. So I think the official title is registered agent.
Enrolled agent.
I was close.
EA.
Enrolled agent, and CPA, and it's all sorts.
There's a couple of them
all sorts
in
of
there.
titles, right?
Yeah.
But that person holds them, understands banking, and delivered those tips and tricks to you, and we built that inside of our tax.
A reminder, our course library is filled with videos like this. If you're happening to watch us, we come at it at a very high school type level. One of the key components and visions that we had when we started all this stuff was just not to talk over anyone's head. Anyone who was an adult who was at the level and interest of learning this was not going to be confused. So just understand that's the style. The style that you hear from us today, a little bit more formally, because it is actually education courses. So there is feedback and there is assessment and there are questions and there are clues and things like that to help you progress
things to
through.
Watch, things to read.
Things to watch, things to read. It's all in there as well. But we just wanted you to know that it's there. Lately, we haven't talked about it, so we thought we would kind of catch you up on this. I was going to talk about loans and interest because, of course, once people start, they're kind of the way we even deliver the information. We will be forthcoming and help you understand. We don't deliver all the information up front to help you understand all the ways you can become that great, honest banker. We kind of let you learn that as you go because we'll help you. That's one of the things and reasons that why it's left alone. We're going to help you through that process. And of course, Jonah, as well as another team member of ours, Robbie, some of you have met him on a previous episode. They spend all day for the last several years helping everybody do the loan process.
That's right.
Earn the interest process and help people grow their policies even bigger than they were stated on the guaranteed paperwork. So loans and interest is a very fascinating piece because
that's where a lot of questions come from.
Why in the world would I pay myself interest?
Everybody asks that, right? One of our new and upcoming videos that you'll have to pay attention to on our channel is going to walk through that. I had someone recently ask, why in the world would I pay off something at 0% interest when the policy is going to charge me money? And by the time we were done with that topic, they agreed, yep, it's better to actually get rid of it, right? That might throw you for a loop as you're listening for the first time. What? Paying off something that has no interest with a policy that is going to charge me interest? No way. I'm never going to be on board with that. I don't agree with you. But I'm telling you, if you actually walk through with the building blocks and the learning that we've got available for you, I bet you change your mind. Just like I did, because I used to think the same thing, right? I'm going, that doesn't make sense. But then as we like to say, or as the kids say, once the math gets mathin', I'm like, actually, it does make a lot of sense.
Is that what the kids say? See, I got a 3.06. The math was not mathin'.
That is correct, also.
But there was this girl named Allison. I used to copy off her paper.
And Allison wasn't mathin' for her either? That's why
it was
we
very much
with a 3.06.
No, it would have been much worse had I not been mathing off her homework.
Real quick, we got to give a shout out to our fan follow of the week. All right. So our fan follow is actually coming from YouTube today, and it is Casey Way TV. Casey Way TV is our fan follow of the week. She's actually a recent follower that we've had, and so we want to give a shout out to her and also ask, or him. I actually don't have the picture up, but you guys can see it. But so what we actually want to ask is, do you have any questions? Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any concerns? Let us know. If you respond to us in one of the comments on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to reach out to us on, we'll see it, and we'll put you in the next episode answering your question because that is important to us. So anyway, Casey Way TV, big shout out. Thanks for the follow. We appreciate you.
Jonah, I've got a question for you, and it comes from TikTok here. So we are coming up next on our question of the week. All right, I'm stopping you in your tracks right here with this one. It comes to us from Airstrike Brand. As I think I've mentioned before, and I go live a lot on TikTok, as you know. We've got a handle called The Banking Bros, and that one is our typical channel for live events and learning. Lots of people put handles out there that are so tough to know, and I'd like to acknowledge people, but I'm like, I don't know what this is.
If you're trying to read, I mean,
and they got 10 numbers in it.
Handles and you try to read them, you're only getting 3 of them right.
Yeah, exactly. And I try to read them all the time. So this one looks like Airstrike Brand, pretty simple. But Airstrike Brand, I believe it is a he, asks this. Now, remember, of course, ladies and gentlemen, and Jonah, this is responding to different TikToks. So if you need to learn things in bite-sized chunks and you like some of the entertainment we bring to the table, go over there. So I think this one can be answered without looking at that TikTok specifically. Okay. It is, what is normal funding limits? Okay, what are normal funding limits? The reason that this gets asked is because I know my cadence of communication and education on that free app and platform. Jump on there and join me live. Ladies and gentlemen, people want to know, well, if you're normally funding a policy like this, it's actually a little bit different than normal funding if it's not a policy like this. So what I mean by that is we're talking about actually overfunding a little bit or a lot of it on regular, old style, not banking, whole life insurance policies from mutual company. So there it is. Okay, yeah, that's the money ball right there. Whole life, mutual companies that pay dividends, and we're going to overfund and engineer them for cash. Okay, so normal funding limits. Jonah, what are the limits? How do limits work? And why is that important when it comes to this style of banking policy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So normally when people ask about limits, they're really saying, is there a minimum threshold or a maximum threshold for the amount of money that I can put into the policy? Now, let me stop there, because that's not the normal question that you'd ask when you're talking to someone about life insurance. But if you understand even a tiny bit about what we do with infinite banking, privatized banking, cash value life insurance, that is the question that you ask. So let me, again, preface by saying, if you walk down the street to your local life insurance person, that's not the question you ask. I understand that. If you talk to us, that is the question you ask, because if you're talking to us, you understand at least a little about what's going on. So when this person's asking, what are the normal funding limits, I've got to assume that they know at least a little bit about what's going on. So what they're actually asking is, what's the maximum number? What's the minimum or maximum value dollar amount I can put into this policy? Am I on the right track?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah. So we'll break it down for us. So let's assume, if I can ask it this way, unless you were going down a specific angle, someone says, I've got an idea of what I want to fund my banking system with. Okay. What is my range then around my number?
I'm not sure. I understand now what you're asking. Let me answer mine, then I'll come back for yours. Cool. So when we're talking about limits, maximum limit, so realistically, there isn't one. I have not seen one to date. I've worked with a lot of people. I've seen some very high value policies, meaning that the person decided to put in a bunch of money into their policy. I've seen some very low value policy, meaning the person decided to put not very much into their policy. You can do anything that you want in between. If you get into a hiccup where the insurance company does not want you to put that much money in, it's not because they think you don't have the money, you're not good for it, it's not sitting, that's not it. The reason that they might not let you do it is because the death benefit, the traditional product that the insurance company will offer you, because of the amount of money you're putting in, that death benefit now does not meet certain qualifications, right? Or certain parameters. The way I explain it is always like this. Put me or you up against Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? If you put us
Nick Cannon.
Yeah, right. But if you put us up against those people, who gets more death benefit? Who will the insurance company allow to have a bigger number for their family and friends when they pass away? The famous people, obviously, right? They've got more of a net worth than you or I. So what that means is when you translate it into banking policies, they're going to be allowed to put more money in theirs than you or I. That's it. So when it really comes to funding parameters, limits, there's just go for it, man. And we'll come back and tell you if the insurance company's got a problem with what you're putting in. A lot of times it doesn't happen, or we can fix it. I had a situation just last week where the insurance company didn't like what was put in. It was a husband trying to do a policy on himself and his wife, split 50-50. And the insurance company said, nah, we don't like that. She's way younger than you. Her death benefit's going to be a lot higher than yours. That's not cool with us.
Women live longer, and she's younger, so she has more time to get all this growth.
There you go.
Get all this death benefit. You guys understand what we're saying?
Solution took 3 minutes. Called him back. I said, hey, they don't like that. Here's why they don't like that. We just need to adjust it like this. Maybe put a little bit more on you, a little less on her. Death benefits will come out even. You're good to go. Policy was approved today. It's all the email. You see, it's real easy. So if that's you, don't worry about that. Just put the money in and we'll walk you through it. But your question.
Second question, yes.
Your question, what about like range?
So you out there and I out there, we pick a number that we want to put in. Do we have flexibility?
And the answer to that is yes. So let's assume you're talking about, listen, I love what you guys are doing. I like the way the policy works. I saw the contract. I look at the guarantees. I actually walked through a contract with somebody 2 days ago. So I got all sorts of new information from the contract. I hadn't read the contract in a little bit of time. Of course, it's just like we left it, but I was refreshed.
Yes.
So anyway, we went through the contract. I love what you're doing. I want to commit to whatever, $50,000 in this policy that I want to put in. But what happens next year if I have less, or what happens next year if I have more? So first, let's talk about less. I want to do $50,000 this year, but what happens next year if I have less? The answer to that is, okay, you have less. Let us know that, and we'll get some flexibility built in your policy. A lot of times you can drop your policy premium pretty significantly, but again, you need to say something. Think about your car insurance for a second. My car insurance is $100 a month, and next month I don't have $100 and I tell no one.
You're in trouble.
Now you're in trouble. You didn't say anything, right?
Right.
Same thing here. If you need to go down less, say so. Now, in the adverse of that, this is what happens more often than not. Once people get about 2 or 3 or 4 years into their policy or greater, they go, oh my gosh, I wish I did a lot more than 50,000. Wish I put in 60, 70, 80. Can I increase? And the answer to that situation is kind of. Realistically, no. But kind of, and we'll work you through that. That's actually our strategy in order to get your policy growing and moving a little faster, but there's just some limits on it. So how I explain it a lot of times is, if you have 50,000, you really want to do 51, we can probably get that.
Oh yeah,
we can
you're
probably
good.
Make that
You're
slide.
good.
I have 50,000, but I really want to do 60.
Might be on the limit.
Yeah, probably.
Might be in
probably
there.
Not. Probably not that much. So again, just say so. I talk to people every day, and those are their questions. Oh, I loved it last year. Need to do 60. Next call. Oh my gosh, I loved last year, but I just lost my job. Can I cut in half? What are my options? And we'll just walk you through it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the long form answer. If you're looking for short form answers and content, ask questions down in the comments wherever you are seeing this information or hearing it. And of course, on TikTok, we appreciate Airstrike Brand for giving us this question. And we look forward to many, many more questions that I can answer, especially on a live education situation. If you need to take it to the house, introduce it to your family and friends, go on to thecashcompound.com and check out our course library platform there. We've got more stuff coming for you over the course of Q1, Q2, Q3. We've just done some strategic planning for the new year. We're very excited. We wanted to remind you what was still out there, and we hope that you join us on these platforms to crack the code to cash flow.